O kōle ke u whanga i ngāhi whātap ko tōpik whakiat me wharen. Kai tā mō mautolu ke mau whakahoko atu ai polokalama ai Tonga Skills ki he mahina ni. Kei tuko e pēr whawhetai ke o tua i he taulama hao, pene whai ma tautolu, o tautoe au serere ai mahina koe ni. I he whiawhini o i he ni ai ma pēr moe ongo whakawhe koe ni ki he polokalama ai Tonga Skills. Pako mau whiawhia au pito ko uhi koe na lava o mea mai ke he whakahoko atu ai polokalama koe ai whiawhini. Peko kōle ke mau hufanga pe mua ngahi whatapu kai tuke whakahoko atu ai polokalama koe ni I he rea whakapitania. Welcome to another program with Tonga Skills for this month, January, and it is a pleasure as well that I have here in the studio distinguished guests and special guests as well for this month's program. The theme of the program for today is partnership between Government of Tonga and Government of Australia to support inclusive economic growth in Tonga. So I would like to introduce our special guests from the Australian High Commission, the High Commissioner for Tonga from Australia, His Excellency Mr. Andrew Ford. Welcome to this program and thank you for accepting our request to join us in this program. We also have Mr. Anthony Bailey, who is our program director from Australia. And Anthony just arrived yesterday and he gladly accepted the invitation to be with us on this program. So thank you, and without further ado, we'll go ahead with the program, and I would like Your Excellency, if you could please talk about the Australian Aid Program in Tonga.
I'd be very happy to talk about the Australian Aid Program in Tonga. It's a $30 million program in total, and it's focused on quite a number of key areas. I just want to highlight a few of those today. One of those is we are focused on economic governance, because one of the, I guess the overarching theme of our program is we want to provide the Tongan people with prosperity and stability. And so an important part of that is economic governance, having the right legislation and regulations in place to provide a platform for the Tongan economy to grow as strongly as it can. I guess one of the things about Tonga is it's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. It's a long way from anywhere. It's not a very large country, 100,000 people. So it's difficult to develop a very diverse economy with those factors in place. So we've been working with the government and with the World Bank to try and set in place the framework in terms of legislation and regulations. On top of that, we also work with the health program, because healthy Tongans live longer and are more productive for longer and are with their families for longer, which is very important in Tongan society. So a lot of our funding is also focused on healthy lifestyles. And then I guess the focus today is on skills, and we're going to talk a little bit more about skills. And the important thing in the area of skills is that people are able to work in the areas where the Tongan economy most needs them. And that Tonga has a very strong agriculture, fisheries, tourism and services sectors. And so we've developed during the 3 years I've been here this Tonga Skills program that we're talking about today, which is all about trying to improve the capacity of the people in an inclusive way that includes disabled people, women, and all parts of society. So I'm very proud to be associated with this program.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And there is no doubt that a lot of people will vouch for the usefulness of this program. And we have reached out, not only, as you mentioned, not only to women, but we've reached out to people with disability, people out in the rural and remote areas. And they, yes, and in the outer islands as well, of which we still continue with the program and the trainings, and people are so happy. And more people are still seeking our help with development, and especially with trainings they think that they need, especially to help with the economic development in Tonga. So Anthony, again, as I said, welcome to Tonga.
Thank you very much.
And if you can talk to us about how has Tonga Skills taken this initiative with the Australian Aid program to deliver and empower inclusive economic growth for Tonga.
Thank you very much, and thanks for the opportunity to speak today, and also in the presence of the High Commissioner. I think it's important to just go back a little bit and to see Tonga Skills as part of an ongoing investment by the Government of Australia in skills development in Tonga. So this is actually the third iteration of investment in skills development in Tonga, and it builds on the successes of the previous two programs. The goal of the program is equitable access to inclusive and flexible skills development, which leads to sustainable economic growth. Sounds sort of quite big and quite complicated, but at its heart, it's about helping people to gain access to skills which lead to productive employment, access to skills which lead to improved livelihood, so that might be improving productivity or improving income generating opportunities. And the mode in which we do that is that we work very much in partnership with the Government of Tonga. So our key counterpart is the Tonga National Qualifications and Accreditation Board, and we're very fortunate to have such a close and productive relationship working together, because it's very important to have a skills system which is quality assured, so that when people participate in skills training, be that in any of the priority sectors where we're working, and I'll talk about those in just a moment, participants are confident that the training is quality assured, it has a particular standard, and it will be recognised, not only in Tonga but also overseas. So we call that working on the supply side, but I'd just like to talk very briefly about working on the demand side, because that's where the demand for skills is coming from. It's coming from the private sector, it's coming from those economic areas where there's income generating opportunities. And part of our program has been to work with the island development committees in Hapai, in Ewa, in Vava'u and Tongatapu, to have a look at where are those economic sectors that have good opportunities for income generation and business development, both in the informal and the formal sector. So we, as you mentioned, we work in the outer island, so kind of informal economic activity. And so through a process of consultations with various ministries and the private sector, we identified 4 economic sectors, so agriculture, as the High Commissioner mentioned, including fisheries and food, hospitality and tourism, construction and manufacturing, which includes handicraft. And so then the process that we went through with our consultations was to go down, dig into those a bit more and to see where were those opportunities at the island district level, so that the training providers could respond to demand for skills depending on, for example, say on Vava'u. So vanilla pollination, vanilla production is obviously a key economic activity for Vava'u, and so we've worked then with the training providers to help them develop training programs which are then quality assured to deliver for participants in those areas. So it's really about matching demand and supply. It's a global issue, the whole issue around matching skills for jobs and jobs for growth. Tonga's not the only country in the Pacific which is grappling with this issue and working out the best way to make a better match for Tonga. There are other programs funded by the Government of Australia in Kiribati, in Vanuatu and also in the Solomon Islands, all taking a very similar approach, which is around demand plus supply equals economic growth, and undertaking, you know, quite extensive consultations across the government, communities and the private sector to make sure that we get it right. Because if you have a mismatch between skills and outcome, then you have low unemployment, underemployment, which leads to, you know, other sorts of social issues which have an impact in the country. You mentioned earlier our inclusion approach. We took a very deliberate, big approach to inclusion from the beginning. So we talked about, geographical inclusion. So that's including the outer islands, but also the peri-urban areas of Tongatapu, people with disabilities, and also women. And particularly with people with disabilities, we've actually had a focus on working with the disability people's organisations in Tongatapu. Through our partnership with the Ministry of Internal Affairs. We're a member of the National Disability Task Force, and we've been doing, from the skills side, quite a bit of work around capacity building for training providers to be more inclusive.
Yes.
We've had the experience where teachers have said, I've never had someone with a disability in my classroom. Now I know how to, change my training program, how to be more inclusive, how to make what we call reasonable accommodation in order for that particular participant to gain the skills and enjoy an opportunity for productive employment or self-employment. And as you've probably talked about on previous TV shows, we've had some really great success in that area, particularly with our handicraft program, which has had a number of people with disabilities participate, and some of those participants have had a chance to double their income, which is a great outcome, for them in terms of their confidence as a member of society, but also an economic outcome for them and for their families. So we'll continue on with that very strong inclusion approach with women's groups through community organisations and the Civil Society Forum. We've been doing quite a bit of work around entrepreneurship for women and helping set up micro and small to medium enterprises. So, in the garment manufacturing training that we've done, we've had participants say, I could sew, but now I can value add my garments and I can actually generate more income from the same activity. So it's a kind of a win-win for both the participant and family. So that's just a small snapshot of Tonga Skills. We've been operating in Tonga now since 2016, and very much looking forward to 2019.
Thank you, Anthony. And I think Tonga is very lucky that we have this program, and also many thanks to the Australian government for the initiative. And right at the beginning, when Tonga Skills came into being, Your Excellency, you've been here in Tonga since the program started. So is there anything else that you would like to talk about and add to what Anthony has talked about?
Yes, I would like, just one thing I'd like to add is that Australia has recently introduced a new Pacific labour scheme. So I think we're all very aware of the seasonal workers program, which has been going since around 2012, where workers from across the Pacific have gone to Australia to pick fruit and vegetables. But we've just introduced a new scheme that began in the middle of last year, which will allow for people to go for slightly longer periods of time in a much broader range of sectors. And Tonga will, I hope, shortly sign on to that scheme, and when it does, that will give access to a whole lot of new opportunities in Australia for Tongan workers. One of those is in aged care, and so we recently had a graduation ceremony for some students who'd been in Fiji getting certification in the area of aged care, and that was we were able to do that through a partnership involving Tonga Skills and some other organisations here in Tonga, which was fantastic. So these are all women in this case. It doesn't just have to be women, of course, but they are now have certificates that allow them to be able to undertake aged care possibly in a setting in Australia. So I think there are opportunities. We'll be looking to Tonga Skills to help prepare workers, not just to work in Tonga, but also to be able to work overseas as well, including in Australia. So I think that's very exciting.
Thank you. It's good news for Tonga, because we've had a couple of inquiries about further training on aged care. So it's not the first one, but it's the start.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we will have a lot of them looking into getting the trainings on aged care.
That'd be great.
So again, thank you for your support. You've always stood by Tonga Skills all this time.
I've loved going to graduation ceremonies and seeing the students, seeing the people who have new qualifications and knowing it's going to make a real difference in their lives. And I think that's the most important thing, is we want this program to make a difference in people's lives. As Anthony talked, there's some people who've been able to double their income. And that's exciting, because we want people to be able to support themselves and their families. And I think there's also that great sense of achievement when people are able to earn their own income in that way. So it's fantastic.
Okay, thank you. Anthony, I know you still have a lot to talk about, and people would love to hear you.
I guess just picking up on the High Commissioner's point there around the aged care course. I mean, that was a great example of a partnership with at least four organisations, two of which are funded by the Government of Australia, Tonga Skills and the Australia Pacific Training Coalition, as it's now known, but also involving a local training provider, Tupou Tertiary Institute, and MIA, the Social Protection Unit at MIA. And so by the two Australian government-funded programs working together and then supporting a local training provider and also strengthening the ministry in terms of, you know, the increase of the number of aged care workers for Tonga, it's a great outcome, and it's a good demonstration of the model that we have, which is to be inside the system, you know, where Tonga Skills is not a parallel program which is operating outside of what's actually going on in Tonga. It's very much inside, working with our training providers like Tupou Tertiary Institute. And one of the other benefits of that program was that the two trainers from Tupou Tertiary Institute completed that course as well. So they're now qualified to teach an aged care program in Tonga, and the goal being for Tupou to have its own national qualification in aged care, which as the High Commissioner pointed out, could be a potential pathway for labour mobility. And so, you know, we very much value these partnerships that we have, both with other programs funded by the Government of Australia, so Pacific Women, for example, and the pearl carving skills development that we're about to do in Vava'u with, in partnership with the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research. That's all about trying to work together to harmonise and, more importantly, not to duplicate effort.
That's right.
And to work together. So that's a really good example of the way, a really good practical example of the way Tonga Skills is working here in Tonga.
Thank you, Anthony. And it's as time goes by, we have a lot of requests, even from the ministries of the government, to help them with some of the trainings that they usually do, but they want to partner with us in carrying out these trainings, especially in the outer islands. So it's good to see that the partnership is there and it's working. Your Excellency, we know that this is your last week in Tonga. You only have a few days before you leave, and we are quite sad to see you go, but we know that there are other more important work for you as well in other parts of the world. And Calcutta, India.
That's right.
Getting ready for you, coming.
Getting ready for me, or I'm getting ready for it.
From a small population to a large population. And I know the work is not going to be that easy. And we wish you and your family, especially your lovely wife, good journey, a safe flight out of Tonga. We know you won't be in your post until another 2 months.
That's right, yep.
So for this opportunity, may I ask you to say last few words of farewell to the Tongan people?
Thank you. I'd love to say farewell to the Tongan people. I've loved my 3 years in Tonga. It's been the experience of a lifetime to be in Tonga and to be the High Commissioner here, and to love both the natural beauty of Tonga, but more importantly, the lovely Tongan people. So I really want to say thank you to everyone here in Tonga who's made my wife and I feel so welcome. We've loved our time here. And I'm sure, as you say, time in India is going to be much more challenging, but we go away feeling loved and blessed by the 3 years we've had in Tonga. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency, and God bless you and the work that's waiting for you. And Anthony, thank you very much for being with us on this program. It's always good to have you with us in Tonga.
Thank you.
And give us more confidence and also give us more energy to do the work that we are facing in the next few months. Ko e ngata ngai a polokalama o e Tonga Skills ki he maina ni pak mau whamalo atu i ho mokau mai ke tau ka whata e polokalama koe ni ka tātau te whito ki he ni whoki ai Australian High Commissioner, His Excellency Andrew Ford, pe he ki he taki o e ngā ue koe ni a Tonga Skills, Mr. Anthony Bailey, pe a koe whakaosi pe, koe ki whanongonongo pe, pe whakataha pe mo e mau whakahatu pe koe e mau ngā ue for all i he Tonga Skills, i ho mau ofisi i he taimini, koe e tokotaha ko Maria Whaasolo, koe tokotaha ko ni kone toka ngai a ngā ue ki he contracts, pe a mo administration officer, pe he whoki mau whiawhia i he toi whok mai a Kasakirioni, tokoni ki he ngā ue ta whaki koe a skills. Pe a kei ato e pe ai whakaafi ke te mūtolo, mō whi mau e tokoni pe me he Tonga Skills ko mau ofisi, i olunga i he lalita, o ku ata i he taimi pe ke mo wa ahiang ke tau talanoa, pe ko mo tāngi he whika telefoni ko e ua ono hiwa ua wha. Pe kui ai whuk pe mo mau Facebook, te mo lava o mawai a ngahi talanoa whikau ak pe mo Tonga Skills, pe a o kia e whakaafi ke te motol ke moto e kau mai, ke polokalama le tio pe a mo e TV a Tonga Skills i he mahina kahau. Ko ato ai whakamalola i he whainga maari e koe ni o mau i he ahoni. Ko e ngata ngai e polokalama tua whātu.